Hello, hello, hello. I hope you guys can join me today. I just posted in Art Joy Sharing Facebook group, so I'm hoping some people can come over and join the live chat. I'm just getting it up on my phone here so I can follow along. And I want to talk to you about Art Joyous Sharing, which is our Facebook group. We give you some challenges each month to encourage your art play. And this month is no exception. I'm a little bit late, thus I am doing a live because I didn't get around to doing this earlier. So what you see on my desk are things that I have been working on. Um, these are just small pieces that I really like the texture and pattern of, and I'm thinking about bringing them out and making little miniature art pieces because these can become a card front or go on a wall in a assorted pattern, or these are fun mark making things, and that's what we're here to talk about today, is the whole mark making thing. I determined that our May should be all about making your mark, not just my mark, but your mark. So let me set those aside. um, I've got several journals out here, and whether it is this type of thing where you are just taking a page and experimenting with different types of marks, dots and dashes, lines and circles, this is something that you can do very easily in an art journal. I can take, what do I do with my pen? I had a really nice pen out here. I know it's early this morning. I'm trying to get going early this morning because I got a lot of things to do. So here's just a page, and suppose you just want to make some lines and dots, and short lines, long lines. Doesn't matter what kind of lines, just lines and dots, and follow that along and change it up a little bit. So you can see how just making marks can give you ideas and inspiration. So, now that I've got something like that down on the page, and here I've just drawn circles. And then I've come back and I've filled in between the circles. But this is just kind of like mindless doodling. You can do this. And please, 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 please share what you are doing, because so many of us get inspired by watching what someone else is doing. And a prime example of that is this last month. If you watched my friends Laura Gorgain and Barbara Clark, they have been following Kelly Wynn, and her name is Kelly with an E-E. I think it's Kellee and W, I'm going to butcher this, Wynne maybe. I'll look that up and give you the right information. But they've been doing a free class with Kelly and been doing some marvelous work. And go check out their stuff on Art Joy Sharing on Facebook, because I think you're really going to enjoy what they are doing. So, this book is all about, some of that type of mark making. I started this journal a long time ago, and you can come back at any time and just add to all of this mark making that you've got on your book. just, adding that little bit of something to those dots. And see how that enhances the look of that. And more layers are better. I'm just saying, the more layers, the happier I am, because it just gets richer and fuller. If you decide you don't like a layer, you can always paint over the top of it. So don't let layers intimidate you. Don't let it scare you because you're covering something up. Just go ahead and let your work flow and enjoy the process. Get mindless about it. Just, let the art happen. And I think you'll be much happier with what you're seeing in the end process, okay? So, some of these, here I have done just some watery color kind of stuff and some sketchy thing. And, I can come back in here and I can emphasize some of this. I can look at this and I can say, well, I think that needs a heavier line there, and I can change that up. I can add something like this, which is a gel printed piece, and do some line work over the top of that. There's lots and lots of things here that can be done. Here's a piece that's got some circular stuff on it, and I can come back with some kind of circular tool and just, let's see, I've got some blue on there. Let me get some more, see if this will show up. This is that's too light. I want something a little bit darker. Get a manganese blue here. And this time I think I'm even going to let it go off the edge. Yeah, let it go off the edge here. I'm just using this as a stamp with that manganese blue. Making my mark, right? Making my mark. So think outside the box. Make your mark. Show people what you are doing. Share it. Get new ideas from other people. Okay, so lots of mark making opportunity on this page. You can see that it was just kind of a clean off, and now I've got, space that I can come back in and add things to that. So that's one Tone Tan journal from Strathmore. These are not expensive, but you can see you can get a lot of ideas out of here. Here's some doodling, some flower doodles and paint. More of that mark making. Okay, so what I did, and let's go back to, remember I was doing a journal for this year where I'm trying to keep track of things better. So this is that journal. Here's a book that I started back in 2018 from Cat Hands Group. It was Mixed Media Morsels. And I go back and I look at these things to get ideas, where we were doing collage work. And here is one where I did mark making with the dimensional adhesive. And here's an alcohol ink background. And what was this one? This was a tissue paper background. And then I did my mark making and stamping and things on top of that. This one was inchies, and Becky and Macaulay and I had exchanged inchies. And so there's Becky's inchies in there from day 6. Here's a circular background, making my marks with circles and things. And you can see that some of these are dimensional, some are not. Here's one creating houses. Oh, this dumb computer wants to interrupt me. Okay, making houses. This is a masking technique. This one was just doing paper strips. And then, once you do your paper strips, you can come back over those paper strips and start doing mark making right over the top of those paper strips to further develop your pages, right? So there's lots of ideas in here. Go back and look at some of your older journals like this. This is an older journal. Here I had made my own stamp. Here, I was just making marks. This was watercolor drawing marks. This was exploring with stencils, more stencil work. So, use your tools. Use your tools like this. If you've got stencils and you want to create some different imagery and you're not feeling comfortable with drawing, just use your stencils and get your basic shapes out there on your page using a stencil. Like so. And now I've got a place to start from. And I can come over here and I can add some more. Okay. So here's mark making where I've gone around a stencil. Here, this is like pen and ink mark making. So there's all kinds of marks that you can make. Any number of things that you can do in a journal, sketching and drawing. So go back and look at some of your work. Get inspired to do, some of this type of thing. And have your days of play. Take 15 minutes out of your day and flip to a page. Get inspired by what you see there. I might get inspired by something like this. I might get inspired, I look at this and it tells me, oh, maybe I should get out one of those books with all these different flower designs and look at some of these flower designs and draw from some of these to make a page. So that's inspirational, right? Making something from that. Here's one where I started kind of a desert scene. Here's, a combination, mixed media with different products and techniques. So there's lots and lots and lots of stuff that you can do here. This one, you've seen me working in lately. I'm just doing some backgrounds, getting some background stuff down. Here I was taking some ink and use what you have. Take your ink bottle and use it for your mark making. These are different Amsterdam inks. And I like my natural colors. This is a kind of a garden green. Let me see if I can get this open. I've been gardening this week and I've got a cut right here on the inside of my thumb. And so opening jars is not one of my best things this week. So, I can just put some of this down on here. I can let it run. can let it run. I can take a spray bottle. I can spray that and see what it's going to do here. Making my mark, right? So I would need to let this dry down, but you can see the wonderful texture. Oops, let me set this aside. Let me see if I can mop some of this up without destroying it. Yeah. So you can see, if I get up in here, you can see the texture that was created in here, the marks that you're making and the texture that you're getting with that ink and spray. And then you can go back on top of this. I'm going to let this dry while we talk about a few other things. But I would go back on top of that and I would do some line work. Hi, Laura. Good morning. How are you this morning, my dear? I was just talking about you earlier, you and Barbara Clark and what you've been doing. And congratulations on your successful sale. I was so glad to see you doing an art sale. I'm just really thrilled for you. So, yay, congratulations. Wonderful work. So, we're just talking about making your mark today, about, what we want to do. You're great, wonderful. What we want to do this month and what we want to share this month. So, and I'm encouraging everybody to get in there and share their work because it's so important to encourage our friends to do these sorts of things. A lot of the ideas that I get are just from talking to you guys. So I might have a page like this and I look at it and I say, oh, there's a textural element on here, but I'm not happy with the finished product. So I may want to grab a brayer or something, and I may want to take some ink. Let's see. Let's look at some of this. We had some of these inks out earlier. Let's take some ink. I've got a board here with this is just a cutting board that's got one of those craft sheets on it. And I'm just going to shake this up. I haven't had it open in eons, so let's hope I can get some out of here. Just going to drizzle a little bit out if I can. Okay. There's a little bit of that gold. I've got some copper on here already. I hope it doesn't clash too much. But I'm going to pick that up with a brayer. And where the texture is, I'm hoping that the texture will catch that if I just do this lightly. Yeah, it is. It's catching on some of that. A little bit heavier than I wanted in some areas, but you get what you get. Like Shell says, you get what you get and you don't pitch a fit. You just roll with it, right? I'm rolling with it. I can see that I've got texture up in here. So I want to add some of that here. And that's what I'm talking about, layers. Layers are always great. Like I say, if you don't like it, layer over it again. And I didn't really like what had happened here. It had gotten lost a little bit. And I needed something to kind of bring that back out. So now I like that a little bit better. So I'll set that aside to dry. Kind of clean up my brayer a little bit. Probably should have cleaned it up. Probably should have cleaned it up on this other page, huh? Because I've got this. Remember we were doing this morning? Set this down. See if I've still got out my. Oh, here's a stamp. Look at, here's a stamp just sitting here on my desk. This is a Hero Art stamp. Let me see if I can do some stamping in the background with this. Oh yeah, that's pretty. Just using up what I have here. You guys see that gold? That's really pretty. Okay, so I probably need to clean that off, because that ink will stay. But we still got an opportunity here, right? So on the opposite, or on an opposite page, I'm just going to take an opportunity to pick some of that up for another background. It is a nice gold, isn't it? That one is, what is that? That one is Doc Martin iridescent calligraphy, copper plate gold. It's kind of got some copper and gold in it. Okay, so back to this journal thing. So I was talking about, you know, the monthly. Oh, look at that. Look at my underpaper. This underpaper is really pretty too. See that? Yeah, that's going to go into something for sure. Talking about this month. And so this was my calendar, which I've been working in as we go throughout the year. And I'm not very good about keeping up with this type of thing. So as you see, like I was traveling in January, so I tried to put down the things that we were doing as we were moving through the month. And because I was traveling, I was ending up taking pictures and things, you know, putting in my Cocoa Beach and pictures of the sunset, family photos, that sort of thing. Not so much art, but what was happening with me that month. Yeah, isn't that lovely color? Okay, so in February, we switched over, and we were still traveling. We were still, you know, doing things. And so I didn't, says I should be doing daily art, but I have the winter blues. Yeah, was not getting stuff done the way I wanted to in February. But I am doing some things in here. Time to practice what you preach. Get out the cutting machines. I did get out the cutting machines. I did try some things with the cutting machines. I did work with some friends on a Zoom, and we learned some things about our different cutting machines. And I did get going, girl. I needed a makeover. I was feeling the winter thing really badly, so I colored my hair. That was something I did. Actually, I colored my hair a couple times since then. Then March rolled around, right? And in March, it was windy, it was rainy, it was snowy, it was just not what I had anticipated. Here's a stencil that I cut with my cutting machine. You know, I said I was teaching myself how to use that cutting machine. So you can see as I'm progressing, I'm kind of journaling to keep track of where my year has gone and what I've been doing and how I am keeping up with the art. And that's why this calendar journal was kind of important to me. And here I have made notes about how to use different, these are different symbols on software. And so, you know, replicate, fit to page, that kind of thing. I don't understand the pictures so much as I do the words. So I was making notes to myself for how to use a silhouette. And so that's what that's about. Here I'm telling myself to gel print some fabric. And I want to get some fusible interfacing. So, you know, I'm making notes about, and if I go shopping, I can come back and refer to this or just make another list on my phone. Different things I want to do. So that was March. Still not into this whole calendar thing as much as I should be. April came along. Been very busy April, guys. You can see I've got stuff going on here with my April. I had luncheons with former colleagues, and we moved a lot of soil and compost and things for my garden. I got a new tower system. Hey, good morning, Miss Vicky. How are you? Got a new tower system for planting, and I've been planting that up. So, you know, things have been happening in this month of April. I made a Daniel Smith, Jean Haynes watercolor palette because I had most of the colors already. And I decided I could make my own palette because I had all the things to do that with. And if you have a particular color palette that you want, you could do that too. So I've got a video out there on my channel. Hey, Carla, good morning. So if you're interested in doing that sort of thing, you can go follow along with that. Then I've been doing a lot of work outside. Like I said, we were working with our cutting machines and trying to learn those. So here's retiree stuff, birthdays, Earth Day, that sort of thing. In addition, I got a new kitchen counter and painted my kitchen. Yeah, those are things that you have to fit in between art too. You think she is watching too? She mentioned it to me. I'm not sure who you're speaking about. Okay, so anyway, been working on patio pots and all of that, and I've got two channels of my own. I've got Misdistressed, or excuse, Misdiagnosed, because that's more health and cooking and gardening kind of stuff. And then I've got Peg Robinson, which is more, you know, my art type of stuff. And then we've got Art Joy Sharing channel, which is where you are right now. So anyway, here's my April. And you can see this says things I did. I painted the kitchen. I did a new countertop, new backsplash, mulched the yard, made a greenhouse, got soil for the planters, talked to my friends, lunch out with retirees, played pool with friends, took Ron to the VA. I was trying to be more mindful of my limitations and take care of my health. And I painted my fence around the yard. So, yeah, it's early. It is early because I've got stuff to do today. Sorry, guys. And then this says things I didn't do. And I said, we will not talk about this because the list is too long. And then things I absolutely had to do this month, but I didn't do, so I need to do next month. And that's gardening. I need to continue with the gardening. I need to plant seeds. I've got lots of seeds to plant. I need to get that greenhouse going. I need to stock the freezer with meals so that Ron has meals when I don't feel like cooking. and allow some downtime because I haven't had enough downtime to just do the things that I want to do. So we'll flip over, and today is May 1st, right? Happy May Day, guys. May 1st. So for May, I want you to use your art, create your own art marks, and take a little journey. This is your year in art, okay? So what I was talking about earlier, and you can go back and watch the beginning of this, I was talking about, whatever kind of art marks you're making, whether it is, drawing flowers and doodling, just making pages of marks like this. Um, this is what we're doing this month, is making marks. Make your mark any way you make your mark. You can go back and watch the beginning if you don't have ideas of your own. But here I was talking to myself, just sketching little sketches is making a mark. Do illustrated recipes. I was doing some online cooking. I made some deviled eggs or something yesterday, and so I did a short video on my feed on Facebook so that we could do deviled eggs. And so what I can do then is take a picture of those deviled eggs, and I can do some illustrations for a recipe card and put those illustrations on a recipe card. Those are fun things that you can do. Here, I don't know if you can see this or not. Here, I've done line work, where you're doing hashes, and you know what hash marks are, where you're just doing lines heavier and heavier and heavier, and then you come back with your hash and you fill it in. And this is how you weight something with those hash marks so that you get your shadows and things, your shadow effects underneath the edge of a flower pot or something. Line work and shadow. Here is a no eraser sketching, where you don't lift your pen. So if I wanted to just take this page where we put that gold down earlier, and I just wanted to, do some light sketch work, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy, just something like this, some light sketch work over it where I don't lift the pen. And then, it gives me an opportunity to come back in and add more line to this. And then I can also paint on top of that. So if I wanted to add a color, say, and it doesn't have to be anything fancy, I can just get a little bit on my finger, and I can just, add some color in here where I want it on the page. And just play. That's what your journal work is for, is just play. Just enjoy it and have fun. I do encourage you to go look at what Laura and Barbara have been doing with Kelly's ideas for that journal, because what they were doing is they were making shapes and dividing up their pages and doing something different in each one of those. So and then now that I've got my layers on here, I can come back and I can do some doodle sketch over the top of this and create something more finished. I'm trying to find something in here that's a little more finished along those lines. Not in that one. Not in this one either. Okay, I don't have a good example of that out here, do I? Maybe this one. Yeah, here's watercolor, where I'd done watercolor and then just doodled and sketched right over the top. creating my own marks over the top of something. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do this month, is create your own marks in this way. And you can do it doing the method that Laura and Barbara are doing, where they're, you know, gridding things off and doing grid journaling. Here, this is similar to grid journaling, where I had just done the dots and things and, you know, put a design in here. But you guys get the idea. Make it your own. Make it whatever it is that is encouraging you this month. And that's what this is all about. That's what Art Joy Sharing is all about, is just to encourage you to share your work and to have fun. You know, think about the tools that you're using, the things that you're using to make marks. You know, if it's a brayer, you know, if you're just taking your brayer and putting some color down on your page, that's fine. You know, just take your brayer and use that for some mark making. If you've got a particular brush that you like that's kind of scratchy or something, and you just want to make your mark, get a little bit of color, make your mark using something scruffy. You know, here I'm just going to stipple some color with a brush and just make my mark in that way on my page. So now I've got texture, right? Layer, layer, layer. You know, then once you've got something like that and you've got a background, then you can start adding more colorful layers. So now let's grab an ink. This vermilion is pretty. And a stamp. And let's go in here and quickly add something more to our page, right? So we've got that green and red, which is opposite sides of the color wheel, which is giving us a really nice contrast. I'm going to put that down on my drop paper because I don't want to waste that. So now I've got a stamp, right? And I can make marks with stamps. So let me get an ink color. This is English Ivy. And I want to ink up this stamp and come back and add this. And you see how just with layers and color and line, you can quickly create things. So now I've got that going on. So I can come back with my own marks and enhance this. Make it my own just by adding. And use the structure that's already here from, you know, the stamps, the stencils, whatever you've got to create with. So I think you guys get the idea about where we're going with this month. Use your art, create your own art marks. You can do it in a grid, in any kind of format that you want, whether it's a whole page, half a page, whatever you want to do, and then share with us. Share what you're doing, whether it's your Zen doodles or your illustrated recipes or your no eraser lines, doing your shadowing, that type of thing. Share, 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 so that we can have a lot of fun together. Okay, guys, that's it from me. Go make art, share it in the group, do videos, share your videos, share your photos, whatever you've got. And if you'd like to set up a Zoom this month, if you guys want to Zoom this month, let me know and I will get something set up in the group and we can do a art and craft together kind of thing. And I will see you guys again soon, okay? Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being with me. I appreciate you all. You are all so kind and generous, and I love you all madly. Let me see if I can Here, settings. Let me do. There I am. Hey! There I am. I am in the basement because it's warming up outside, and I can actually do a few things down here now. So hopefully we won't have to do everything from upstairs anymore. So that's it from the Robinson house today. Great hit. Yeah, that's because I haven't done my hair yet, and I intend to go out and garden and get all sweaty. So this is my garden flower hat. You like it? You like that? Anyway, love you all. Mwah. Bye.